Hello and welcome to this lesson. We're looking at ester reactions in this lesson, which is extremely important, especially Fischer esterification. Okay, what do we talk about when we're talking about esterification? Well, esterification is producing an ester. Okay, an ester. In other words, we are synthesizing an ester, creating an ester. And as we said before, is that an ester is the product of a carboxylic acid. Let's change the color. Carboxylic acid and an alcohol. And the product would be an ester. And what I didn't mention before is that we will also have water as a product. Now, I'm not going to go into this in much detail. I'm just going to give you a broad overview of the conditions and how it will be done. Okay, so first of all, when we have a carboxylic acid, we have a carbon double bonded to an oxygen. Okay, and the carboxylic acid means that carbonyl, this is the carbonyl group, is bonded to a substituent on the one side and a hydroxyl group on the other side. Okay, and this is bonded to an alcohol. Now we know that the alcohol is an OH connected to a carbonyl, hydrocarbon substituent. Okay, hydrocarbon substituent, and this will produce, in the presence of sulfuric acid, an ester. And remember, an ester is COO. Okay, a carbon double bonded to an oxygen, single bonded to another oxygen, and this oxygen, unlike this one, see, we also have a COO, but this one has an H. As soon as it has an 8, it's carboxylic acid. This one has in its base, esters have the base in its name and also an alkyl group, and the base is the carboxylic acid's base, and then the alkyl group is the alcohol's base. Okay, that will form the ester. But what we also have forming is water, H2O, and the reason for that is simple, but better understood if we actually just draw the structural groups. Okay, so let's draw the structural groups. Here we have our carbon double bonded to our oxygen, single bonded to our OH, and our substituent, the first substituent. Then we have our alcohol, which is our substituent, bonded to an OH. And in the presence of sulfuric acid. Now, one thing that I haven't mentioned before is that we actually should change this to a double arrow. The reason for that is because this is a reverse reaction. Okay, this reaction is reversible, and because of that, there are some additional reaction conditions that I'll get to in just a minute. Okay, so here is our ester. Okay, so we can see for this to happen, we need to lose this H, okay, and also lose this OH. Okay, so that that one should have an accent. That just means it's a different one than that one. Okay, so for this one to connect, we need to lose the OH, and then the substituent would replace the H there. So we have this H and that OH and together forming our H2O in the end, and that is why we have H2O. But when we have an ester, okay, added to water, we again have this substitution reaction happening. So this is a substitution reaction, but it's reversible, so it can happen in reverse as well. Now, because of that, for that reason, okay, we need and we'll learn more about this later when we actually look at equilibrium, but we need an excess of reactants. An excess of reactants favors the forward reaction, okay, and all this happens in the presence of sulfuric acid, which acts as a catalyst. Now, what also favors the forward reaction is heat. Okay, so we are going to heat this reaction, okay, with a catalyst and an excess of reactants in order to favor the forward reaction, which produces an ester, and esters have distinct smells. So a specific ester has a specific smell, and not just any smell or strange odors. They actually have smells like banana and fruity smells. So that is how we know in the end, or how we test in the end, that we have actually produced an ester, is by dropping a little bit of ester on a few drops of ester on a paper, okay, and then with a process called wafting, we just blow air or let the air from the piece of paper go into our nostrils and not take a big whiff, and we'll have these smells, and sometimes it can be different types of smells as well, okay, but esters are typically what is used in flavorants and to produce nice odors in products like deodorants, etc. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, learning about Fischer esterification, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.